All right, today we're going to be doing 7.2, part 2, law of cosines. Now, on the law of cosines, if they give you angle A and are asking for side A, you're going to use this equation. A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC times the cosine of A, which is the angle. Now, let's say they gave you angle B and are asking for side B. If that's the case, you're going to use B squared equals A squared plus C squared minus 2AC cosine B. And the last equation here is if they give you angle C and are asking for side C. That's going to be C squared equals A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine C. Now, if they ask you for an angle, meaning they only gave you the sides, there's another set of 3 equations, and they're derived from here. So I'm just going to go and I'm going to take the top one just to show you where it's coming from. So if I take the top one, A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cosine A. If I'm trying to solve for cosine A, you cannot move the 2BC yet. I'm going to move the B square and the C square. So I'm going to go and I'm going to subtract those to both sides. So now on the left side, I have an A square minus a B square minus a C square equals a negative 2BC times cosine A. Keep in mind, I'm trying to solve for cosine A. So now I'm going to get rid of this times negative 2BC. So I'm going to go and I'm going to divide both sides by a negative 2BC divided by a negative 2BC. So now I'm going to be left with a cosine A. Now you can leave it like this. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to throw that negative on the top. So that's going to be a negative A square, a positive B square, and a positive C square. But I'm going to put the positives first. So positive B square, positive C square, minus the A square. And then remember, the negative went to the top, so on the bottom still left with 2BC. So in case they're asked, if in case they give you all the sides and they want to know what angle A is, this is the equation you're going to use. And once again, you're going to have to take the inverse of cosine. So if you don't use these equations, here are the other 3 equations that are optional. We have the cosine of A is equal to B squared plus C squared minus A squared divided by 2BC. Let's say they're asking for angle B. If they're asking for angle B, you have cosine B equals A squared plus C squared minus B squared over 2AC. And then the last one is if they're asking for angle C, cosine C is going to be A squared plus B squared minus C squared over 2AB. And these are derived from here. So either you're going to use these 3 equations or these 3 equations, depending on what the question is asking for. Now, to use the law of cosines, when, once again, we have non-right triangles. And your triangle is going to look like this. The angles are the capital letters. And then the lowercase letter is the opposite side of the angle. Now, just like in law of sines, there's two types of triangles where you use the law of cosines. The first one is going to be on side, side, side. So whenever they give you the side of a triangle, the side of a triangle, and the side of a triangle. So they're going to give you this measurement, and this measurement. you are going to use the law of cosines. Knowing all three sides. And the next one is side angle side. Now the angle has to be included between the two sides. Side, angle, side. So in the triangle, if I know this side and this side, it has to be the included angle that's holding those two sides. Knowing two sides and the including angle. So I'm going to show you an example of each. We need to solve each triangle and find all missing parts. So I want to know what angle A is, angle B is, angle C. I want to know what side A is, side B, and side C. Here we'll say side A is 9. We'll say side B is 17. And side C is, angle C is 65 degrees. And let's give these units. We'll say these are meters. Now I'm going to write down all the information that I know. I know that side A is 9 meters. Side B is 17 meters. And the measure of angle C is 65 degrees. I'm going to go back to my formulas. Here. Now I know the measure of angle C. So because I know the measure of angle C, I'm going to use this formula right here. Okay, I'm going to use this formula right here, the bottom one. You want to use the one where they gave you the angle. So I'm going to use that formula. So that formula says C squared equals A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine of C. I'm going to plug in everything I know. I don't know what the C square is. The A square is going to be a 9 square. The B is a 17 square minus 2AB. And then I have a cosine of 65 degrees. I'm going to type that in my calculator exactly the way it is because my calculator will do the order of operations for me. Make sure you're in degree mode. So now I have a 9 square plus a 17 square minus 2 times 9 times 17 times the cosine of 65. So here I get C square is approximately 240.6788. I don't want to round yet. Now I need to take the square root of that answer because I'm trying to find out what C is, and the opposite of square root. So now when I take the square root of the answer, I'm going to go and I'm just going to go to one decimal place. C is going to be 15.5. And because C is the side, and remember the side were in meters, I'm going to put meters. I'm not done yet. I now need to find out what angle A and angle B is. Now here you have options. You can go ahead and you can use one of these formulas because now you know all the sides. You can use one of these formulas right here, or we can do the law of sines. So it's up to you. I'm going to go and I'm just going to use these formulas. Since I already know angle C, I don't use that one. I'm going to use either one of these. So I'll use that one so I can find out what A is. So the cosine of A is equal to B squared plus C squared minus A squared, all divided by 2BC. So here I have a cosine of A, I don't know. The B is the number 17. The C is the 15.5, which I just found out, minus the A is the 9, divided by 2BC. On this one, I'm going to want to multiply. I'm going to multiply the whole top and then the bottom. So I have the cosine of A. Well, not even multiply, square it. So let's see here. 17 square plus 15.5 square minus 9 square. That is equal to 448.25. And then 2 times 17 times 15.5. That is equal to 527. You are solving for A. To cancel out the cosine is the cosine inverse. We learned that in section 1. So the cosine and cosine inverse cancel. And now I'm left with the measure of angle A. So I'm going to hit inverse cosine. The numerator is 448.25 divided by the denominator is 527. And I get a 31.7. I'm going to go just one decimal place. 31.7 degrees. So A is 31.7 degrees. Now the only measurement that I'm missing now is B. And once again, you can use the formula to find B. However, if you don't want to use this formula to find B, we know that all the angles inside a triangle add up to equal 180. So I know that the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B plus the measure of angle C equals 180. Well, measure of angle A is 31.7 degrees. I don't know B, that's what I'm trying to figure out. And C is going to be a 65 degrees. I'm going to combine like terms. So 31.7 plus 65, that is equal to 96.7 degrees. I'm going to subtract the 96.7. So 180 minus 96.7. So the measure of angle B is equal to 83.3 degrees. And now I found all the missing parts. So just keep in mind when they give you, this one is a side angle side one. Always start with the equation of the angle they give you. Now let's do an example of a side, 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 where they're giving you just all the sides. So now they give you all the sides. We'll say this is a 5 feet. We'll say this is 8 feet. And we'll say this is 9 feet. So here, lowercase a is going to be a 5. Lowercase b is going to be an 8. And lowercase c is going to be a 9. So I'm going to use these formulas because they gave me all the sides. I want to use these ones. Let's go ahead and we'll use this one first to find out what angle A is. So cosine of A is equal to B squared plus C squared minus A squared divided by 2BC. If you happen to use this one, it's totally fine. It still works. The problem is right here, you're going to have to move this to this side, and then you're still going to have to take the inverse cosine. This is just a lot faster. So cosine of A equals B is 8 squared, C is 9 squared minus 5 squared divided by 2BC. I'm going to type in all my numerator in there. 8 squared plus 9 squared minus 5 squared. And the numerator is a 120. In the denominator, I have 2 times 8 times 9, which is a 144. Opposite of cosine is cosine inverse. So the measure of angle A comes out to be 33.6 degrees. I'm going to just round it to one decimal place. Now to find B and C, we can use one of this formula, Or you can do the law of sines if you want. You could say sine of 33.6 divided by 5 equals a sine of b over 8. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the law of cosines though, because this lesson's on law of cosines. So I'm going to use the b one now. So I have the cosine of b is equal to a squared plus c squared minus b squared divided by 2ac. So I have the cosine of b is equal to a, which is a 5 squared, plus c minus b squared, all divided by 2ac. I'm going to type all that in the numerator. The numerator, 5 squared plus 9 squared minus 8 squared. The numerator is a 42. In the denominator, I have 2 times 5 times 9, which is a 90. And then the opposite of cosine is cosine inverse. So cosine inverse of 42 divided by 90. So the measure of angle B comes out to be a 62.2%. (62.2%). And lastly, I need to find out what angle C is. I don't want to use the law of cosines because I know that the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B plus the measure of angle C equals 180. So I know A is 33.6 degrees, B is 62.2 degrees, and I'm trying to find out the measure of angle C. So 33.6 plus 62.2, that is 95.8 degrees. I'm still solving for measure of angle C, so I'm going to subtract the 95.8 to both sides. And measure of angle C comes out to be 84.2. And that's it for the notes.